Let's look at this surprising video, of course, coming from Arise TV, reportedly taken by Zagazola, of course, a security expert on Twitter. As you have it, one of the bandits who recently had peace deal with Katsina government was captured the moment he was given Chieftaincy title. I think this is surprising. I will allow you to watch the video, but I think at this point, we should encourage the president, talking about Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu, to restructure this country. Because it appears as though the northern leaders are not ready to cooperate with federal government to fight this insecurity. Before we go into the video, let us equally look at this surprising area. Of course, this one is equally posted by this security expert, talking about Zagazola Makama. Let me bring you what he said, because it appears as though one of those bandit leaders successfully attended Hajj recently. And you need to ask question, how did the person get clearance from all the checks, all the security check being on wanted list? Let me read from what the Twitter handle of Zagazola posted. Okay, it says, PhD in Faskari sparks questions over bandits foreign travel to Saudi Arabia by Zagazola Makama. You go for that to say that the recent peace dialogue held in Faskari local government area of Katsina State has not only drawn attention for the attendance of top bandit leaders, but also raised questions over how some of them were able to travel abroad despite being on security watch lists. You go for that to say that among those present was Malam Hassan Dan Tawawe, a notorious figure from Katsina, who was once listed among the country's most wanted bandit kingpins. During the party, Dan Tawawe joined other leaders, including Ado Alero, Babaro, and Isia Kwashen Ganwa, in agreeing to terms of peace, such as safe entry into towns without arms, freedom of captives without ransom, mutual forgiveness, and unhindered farming and grazing across the northwest. You go for that to say that observers, however, this is where I want you to take note. You go for that to say that observers, however, noted that Dan Tawawe appeared at the event wearing a pilgrim's clothes, reportedly issued during the 2025 Hajj exercise, bearing the badge of the Kaaba. This, they argue, confirms he has recently traveled to Saudi Arabia and returned safely through one of the Nigeria's official airports. Tawaye also has his passport processed through the Nigerian Immigration Service and screened with his national identification number. The development have revived concerns about how more than 14 bandits, including some of the most dangerous and wanted criminals, traveled to Saudi Arabia undetected in recent months. Questions continue to trail how they pass through airports in Sokoto, Kano, Kaduna, Bauchi, and even Abuja without being flagged by security agencies, despite their names being linked to terrorism and banditry. While Nigerians residents of Faskari and surrounding communities have welcomed the peace pact, many say the revelation brings to light the lingering weaknesses in Nigerian border control and airport screening system. It also exposed the complicity of those responsible for organizing the Hajj operation. I must say that this is surprising, and the way it is, I think the whole world is watching. But again, before we go further, let me allow you to watch that video, of course, that capture moment. One of the bandit leaders was caught on camera being awarded with chieftaincy title. Of course, this is surprising. Watch as we come back to further this conversation.
It is unfortunate.
One,
we have a picture of the man
bandit
there.
was given chieftaincy title.
Chieftaincy title.
And the government officials were invited to the ceremony and they attended it. Is it not the same country where they were giving bandits wives? One state was organizing women for them. That if they got married, they would be...
Look at the military fatigue the guy is wearing.
Come on.
If you dare wear that camo, the military will beat you blue-black in public. But look at him wearing the military cap.
Unacceptable. It's the audacity and boldness of impunity. That's
bandits and terrorists are criminals.
So from what we are seeing, I think it's becoming very clear that the President, Senator Amebola Tinubu, at this point have to use his good office to ensure that this country is restructured. Restructured to the point where at least people should own security in their localities. And I want to believe that the forest guard have come to give an energy to that, because if those northern elements, stakeholders, governors are not ready to fight banditry with seriousness that they deserve, if all they do is to negotiate with bandits, I want to believe that it is a dangerous trend, because the issue of banditry, the issue of insecurity occasioned by Fulani militias in the north is already being exported to the southern part of the country. So we cannot continue to fold in our hands while we allow that insecurity being exported to the southern part of the country. The southern part of the country must do everything necessary possible to protect lives and property, particularly the governors and local government chairmen who have the responsibility to do so. Because if all you do is negotiate with bandits, and even our federal government have provided this opportunity of saying, you states recruit between 2,000 and 5,000 personnel, and the federal government have agreed that they will be armed, they will be trained by the federal government. So I don't see any reason the states should still be hobnobbing, negotiating with bandits. I must say it's a dangerous trend. It's unacceptable, because that peace deal you are entering into, for me, is not sustainable. You are entering into a peace deal, the bandits are not surrendering their weapon, they are not surrendering their gun. So what happens when they feel dissatisfied and turn around to start kidnapping, maiming, and all of that? You understand that recently there was a situation where the peace deals got broken down, and we clearly saw the bandit leader and his group coming to kidnap about 40 persons in a mosque in Zamfara State. So how then do you sustain such peace deal? That is why it must be discouraged. I have said it time and again that the best option left for the government is to go ahead and possess monopoly of currency power. Smoke the bandits out of their hiding places. Set them running and bring them to justice. There's no better way to say it. It make mockery of Nigeria's sovereign state. If all we see on daily basis, if every news that come on the front burner exposes Nigeria as a weak state. As far as I'm concerned, if all we see is this type of negotiation, it exposes Nigeria as a weak state, and it exposes Nigeria as a non-serious state in the Committee of Nations. Because I cannot imagine a sovereign state like United States of America, like Israel, like United Kingdom, Russia, France, name them, entering into this type of deal. I must say it's unacceptable. We cannot forget in a hurry how even American Navy SEALs came to Nigeria to rescue a 27-year-old Philip Wanton, an American citizen who was kidnapped and taken to Sokoto State here in Nigeria. So the best option of Nigerian government is to address it through kinetic approach and ignore the likes of Sheikh Gumi, because for what I've seen, I think Sheikh Gumi will be smiling, because he is the one that has always advocated for non-kinetic approach. He's the one that has always advocated that the government should not use force to address it. To the point that even before the 2023 presidential election, he was quoted to have said that his followers should not vote for anyone that will acquire more arms to fight bandits. I must say that the government should ignore such character, because as far as I'm concerned, bandits have no need to be in the society. These are people who have no value for human life, who take life at every slighted opportunity. As you can clearly see, the likes of Toji Bello, who even celebrated burning down military vehicle the other time. How he even kidnapped about 50-something persons and $1 million was placed on each and every one of them as ransom. How it turned out that those who could not pay, about 30-something of them, were disallowed one after the other. That is why I completely go with the ideology of the former governor of Kaduna State, talking about Malam Nasir El-Rufai, who made it very clear that his own ideology is to disallow all the bandits, said that to their creator, who are the ultimate power to judge them, because according to him, that bandits do not repent. I think I totally agree with him, because we can clearly see, even in some instances, where some bandits who allegedly repented and integrated into the military will always turn out to be an intruder, or rather will be a mole in the military to be giving information to their colleagues in the forest, in the bushes, as the case may be. We saw the other time how military base was compromised, and I want to believe that that could have happened without an actionable intelligence on the part of the terrorists. And how could they be able to gather such intelligence if they don't have an insider? And how the insider come in if not for the process of reintegrating bandits into the ranks of the military? I must say that the government, particularly the federal government, must be wary of how the approach of the state governments. Because before now, the argument have been that the state governments should be allowed to parade some level of security powers, that they should not just be given by the name of the chief governors and the chief security officers of their respective states, rather that they should be given some level of security power to parade. And now that they already have that leverage to parade those security power, you need to ask, why are they now being this weak? Why are they not jumping at that opportunity of owning the security in their respective states? Because personally, I have always advocated, let the governors be given some level of security power. Now that the federal government have come out openly to give them that energy, you begin to ask, why is this, most of these governors, particularly Zamfara State, Katsina State, these two states, why are they treating these bandits with kid glove? Why are they negotiating? Because as it stands, if the insecurity is restricted to the north, if they are not exporting it to the southern part of the country, one would have said, okay, it is a business. But currently, it's a national issue. Because the issue of banditry have taken its root in the southern part of the country. Fulani militias have spread all over the country. And we are dealing with a very formidable group, because the global terrorism desk made it very clear that Fulani militia of Nigerian extraction is the fourth most dangerous terrorist organization in the world. So I think the government should know that they are dealing with a very formidable force that need the might of federal government, the might of the armed forces. It is unacceptable seeing this type of negotiation, because what will be the fate of those families who have their loved ones killed by these bandits? How do they feel? And even the military personnel who, of course, lost their loved ones, even the military personnel who died in the course of counter-terrorism, how would their loved ones feel? See that the federal government, or rather the state governments, instead of fighting them, are now negotiating with them. We want to have a free environment, an environment that is devoid of insecurity. And the only sustainable approach to that is for the federal government to possess monopoly of coercive power to police every inch of Nigerian territorial integrity. Not as we see currently, seeing bandits coming to meeting, peace deal, fully armed with ammunition and all of that. I must say it is not healthy for our country, because the world is watching. The world is seeing how you negotiate with bandits. A sovereign state for that matter. I must say that the states of Katsina, Zamfara, and any other state that is taking that direction to have a second thought and reverse from that trajectory is not a good omen, because bandits must be given the treatment of the wrath of the nation. Because in a way, what is happening will not deter people from going to banditry, because if all people see is negotiation, non-kinetic approach, pleading, you got to show that other people, other will be terrorists or bandits, we find it very convenient to go into the acts. But if all they see is bombardment, decimating them, other people will think twice before they venture into it. That is why the government must be very careful as they go into all of this negotiation. I must say very thank you for time. This is Hardline and I'm Mr. Matthew.